Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Brianna Valleskey from Inscribe, head of marketing with them. How are you doing today, Bri?
I'm doing wonderful. Really happy to be here.
It's great to have you on. Excited to learn a little bit more about what Inscribe is, and I'm sure our listeners are tuning in wondering what Inscribe is all about. So let's kick it off with that, Bri. In your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, I would love to. So Inscribe is an AI company for fraud and risk teams. So we help our customers identify trustworthy and creditworthy customers by analyzing their application data, mainly documents and open banking data. So basically what that means is anytime you as a consumer apply for a bank account or a credit card or a mortgage, you probably have to submit paperwork like bank statements and tax forms to show that you are who you say you are, you qualify for this financial product. And Inscribe checks those documents for signs of tampering or manipulation. So if you've edited your bank balance using Photoshop or purchased a fake bank statement on the internet and just put your name at the top, we use AI and machine learning to detect that in seconds and help companies prevent fraud and losses. And then if we determine that your application is trustworthy, we didn't detect any fraud signals, we can also provide credit insights to assess your credit worthiness. A lot of institutions make lending decisions, based only on credit scores, but that really leaves like millions of people without access to those financial products. 62 million Americans are thin file consumers, meaning they have less than 5 credit accounts. And another like 26 million Americans are credit invisible. They don't have any credit scores. So looking at alternative credit insights, typically like cash flow analysis, not only gives you a better overall picture of someone's financial health, but it creates a more equitable access to financial products.
Definitely great to hear that. I mean, that's always important for everyone out there. So great to hear that from Inscribe. And so that way our listeners could get a good understanding of Inscribe. What would you say is some key problems that you solve for clients?
Yeah, so the clients that we typically work with are traditional financial services companies, banks, credit unions, lenders, as well as fintechs, credit card providers, crypto exchanges, property managers, and even marketplaces. The problem that we're helping those companies solve is that with generative AI, bad actors are able to make incredibly realistic fraudulent documents. These fakes are almost impossible to detect, and 90% of document fraud is actually invisible to the human eye. So we at Inscribe develop solutions that are deeply technical, using the most innovative, large language models and continuous improvements in order to stay ahead in that cat and mouse game of fraud prevention. Our risk intelligence solution today enables customers to efficiently and effectively detect fraud attempts, but we're actually already building for the next wave of Gen AI-enabled fraud with our AI risk agents. Gen AI enables us to create AI risk agents that can read, write, and reason like humans. Rest assured, it's much more than a chatbot. The agents that we're building are autonomous teammates that can automate tasks previously only done by humans, specifically tasks across different systems. And the power of these AI agents is that they can run thousands of fraud checks in parallel, 24 hours a day, helping our customers' teams like 10x their output.
That's crazy. So I mean, like you mentioned, is there another vertical that you guys would go for, or is this pretty much the segment that you guys like going for? That's your ideal ICP.
Yeah, so I mean, we're primarily focused on financial services and fintechs right now, but the sky's the limit. We get a lot of inbound from different industries, insurance, property management, tenant screening, like I mentioned, but document fraud is a very specific type of problem where you need to spend a long time training AI and machine learning models on specific types of documents, and different industries need fraud models that are experts in different types of documents. So our fraud models right now are deep experts in all types of financial proof of income, proof of address type of documents. But in the future, absolutely, there's a lot of other industries that we're interested in exploring.
Definitely awesome. Great to hear that then. And so how would these industries usually find out about Inscribe? Is there a top client acquisition channel for you guys?
Yeah, I love this question. I could talk about this stuff all day. So our audience typically finds us through one of our top 5 acquisition channels: trade shows, webinars, organic search, direct web traffic, and email. Email for us in terms of acquisition, specifically third-party emails, but also database marketing and nurture emails is a huge conversion lever for us. And we actually diligently measure our top acquisition channels by using something I call a marketing efficiency ratio or a channel efficiency ratio. This takes our total pipeline generated dollar amount from our top 5 channels last year, divided by the total investment in each channel last year to generate this efficiency ratio for each of our channels, which for me answers the question, what are my most efficient and effective marketing channels? And so not only does that help us determine what go-to-market investments to make, but it really helps us with forecasting. I can take the dollar amount we're planning to invest in each channel, multiply it by its correlated efficiency metric, and get a fairly accurate estimate of the dollar amount we'll generate in pipeline from those investments. But in terms of which of those 5 are our top channels, for sure, organic search and direct web traffic are huge for us.
Definitely. All right. Awesome to hear that. And so that way our listeners who are tuned in can visit you. They could always check you guys out at inscribe.ai. What role does a website play for client acquisition?
Huge role, both in terms of organic search traffic and direct web traffic. They have our highest channel efficiency ratios, but of course, the caveat is that organic web traffic can be largely dependent on market demand, and direct web traffic can depend on market demand and brand awareness. So these channels do have a really high return for us, but they also have a little bit of a higher risk than something like a trade show, which is a channel that we can reliably generate sales meetings and sales opportunities from. One of our website strengths is that it does show up in a lot of the top, 1 to 3 spots on page 1 of Google. We've made and continue to make a lot of investments in search engine optimization because you can capture people who are actively searching for a solution and have high purchase intent. And we continue to see the fruits of this labor. Another strength of our website, I'd say, is that both visually and verbally, it really communicates not just how our solution works, but the value and ROI of adopting Inscribe. We have a lot of content, resources, blog posts, news and press articles that can help attract customers, investors, employees. And honestly, I think our brand design, not to toot our own horn, is pretty badass, though. We had a genius brand designer we gave a lot of creative freedom to. And I'm not going to lie, there were times where I was a little uncertain with the direction, but we trusted him, and the result is absolutely incredible. But the flip side of that coin, too, is that because the design and development is so sophisticated, it's a little tough to maintain. Might be a little too sophisticated for our size of company, but honestly, we've gotten so much positive reactions that it's a trade-off I'd be willing to make time and time again.
Definitely. That's great to hear. And so based on that, is there any tools or methods or tips that you would recommend to our listeners as far as some website lead generation?
Yeah, interactive product tours are big right now, and we have one on our website, and it's been very successful for us. And even when you think about the buyer's journey nowadays, we know most of that journey happens before someone actually raises their hand and asks to speak with a member of your team. Buyers do their own search engine research. They look at content and case studies in your website. They'll ask their colleagues for referrals, and they'll often reach a point where the last thing they want is to understand, how does this tool actually work? What will this working with this tool look like in my day-to-day workflow? And can I imagine fitting this into my day-to-day? But so many companies insist on multiple discovery and pitch calls before letting buyers see a demo of the product in action. And even for me, as a frequent buyer of technology, that really gets on my nerves. I'm busy. I've done my research. I know what I'm looking for. So, why won't you make it easy for me to take the next step? And you don't even need your engineering or product team to facilitate a product tour either. There's tons of tools that make it really easy to build. As a marketer, we use Novatic, and it does almost everything we want it to do. And I've even seen companies do A/B tests with whether they offer a product tour or don't offer a product tour. And when they do offer a product tour, their free trial signups or whatever their CTA is, they see a huge bump in that. So, and even at Inscribe, our interactive product tour is frequently the last touch before someone converts into requesting a demo with a member of our team. So it's been a pretty successful investment for us that continues to generate return.
That's awesome to hear, definitely. And well, let's switch gears a little bit, Bree, and let's talk about you as a leader. You being the head of marketing there for Inscribe, what are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Data and analytics. I believe that all marketers and marketing leaders of the future need to become data scientists. So whether I'm looking at revenue metrics, funnel metrics, acquisition metrics, conversion metrics, market demand signals, customer feedback and insights, win-loss analysis, pretty much every day I'm digging deep into some sort of data analysis. And, I'm either looking for insight and understanding, like, why did this work? Why didn't this work? What will we do differently? Or other times I'm just trying to make sure that our leading indicators are on track to hit our OKRs and revenue goals for the quarter and for the year. My most important responsibility as a marketing leader is to generate the pipeline coverage needed to hit our revenue goals. And predictable revenue is akin to rocket science. So I need to be constantly alert in my mission control center to see if things are going according to our hypothesized trajectory. And most important, course correct if they are not.
Definitely some great stuff from you there then. So now let's jump into our next section here, Bree, which is a rapid fire question round. So are you ready for them?
I hope so.
All right. Perfect. First off, what is the last book that you read?
Yeah. So I actually went through an unexpected loss in my family last year, and I'm currently in the process of really trying to understand grieving. So I just finished The Year of Magical Thinking by Joan Didion, who is, of course, an incredible author, an icon in journalism history. And then I'm currently reading a book called The Grieving Brain, which is about neuroscience of what happens in your brain when you lose someone you love. And you might think that actually has nothing to do with marketing, but literally every time I learn something about brain science or human psychology, I adamantly believe that I'm also learning something about marketing too.
Definitely. I'm sorry for your loss, but it sounds like you mentioned, right? Everything has to do at one point with the brain, with marketing, because it's how people work, right? So you always want to dig into either it's a grief, it's something that has going on, and everything has to do with the brain and marketing. So I agree with that part. Next up, Bree, is what is one single thing that your company is focused on at the moment the most?
Generative AI. So not only are we focused on it because it's very much in the zeitgeist, but the capabilities that are unlocked by Gen AI are just out of this world. We've only as a society really tapped into it at the surface level. When you think of things like customer service chatbots, that's just the tip of the iceberg. With Gen AI, we can teach these large language models to take point solution machine learning models and string them together with the logic of a human being, and then explain that logic to you in a very cohesive and clear way. And I really believe that AI agents, Gen AI enabled agents, are going to power the future of work in a very meaningful way. So that's our number one focus as a company right now, is really understanding what this AI agent future will look like and how we can help our customers be at the forefront of it.
I would agree with that, definitely. Now, if there would be no boundaries in technology, Bree, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
Yeah, I love this question. My first answer would be collecting feedback from customers at scale, demand signals. What workflows do my customers want automated? What tech or optimization would they pay 5 figures for? I know there's some tools that do it, but they're still so highly manual. And I want a piece of technology like ChatGPT that I can just say, what would my customers say about this? And give me an answer. Another tool that I would love is an internal marketing tool. I know there's a lot of sales enablements tool, but out there, but there's still that same problem. It's highly manual, and I really want something that's quick, easy, and efficient. Of how do I educate my company, keep them up to date on GTM and revenue team wins, losses, and learnings, but also in a way that doesn't overwhelm them. And truly, if there were no limits on technology, please, will someone build an AI assistant for Slack? Because honestly, Slack has hit a tipping point where it's gone from being a productivity gain to a productivity suck. I have to turn Slack alerts off because otherwise I would just spend my entire day fighting fires and responding to distracting ideas on Slack. And I would like an AI assistant that helps manage Slack for me.
That would be great. I think so too. I never thought about it like that, but yep, we're in the same boat like that. So definitely. So I mean, piggybacking off that, is there one repetitive task that you could automate? What would that be?
Yeah. So, I mean, responding to Slack messages, but I don't know how explicitly repetitive it is because it's so contextual and you have to be able to like read and understand and respond appropriately. But I would like an AI agent for marketing who can look all across my channels, develop those efficiency ratios that I was talking about, forecast pipeline and revenue, and then recommend adjustments for when I'm not hitting my targets. Like this is basically what I do today, but all with spreadsheets.
Definitely. Okay. Awesome. Great. Next, and well, lastly, Bree, I mean, you have a lot of experience. You have a lot of knowledge already, but what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Data. Stay curious and somewhat obsessed with what's working and not working, and become best friends with your sales leader and stay as close to revenue as possible.
Definitely. All right. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Bree, for being on. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. You could always check them out at Inscribe.ai, AI-powered risk intelligence for fraud, credit, and compliance. Thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Bree.
Thanks for having me.